This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. Click onto past shows of Blogtalkradio. And you already know Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, and responsibility. Of course, to get in contact with Wayward, of course, you see the phone number on the website. And one-on-one lessons, meaning monthly lessons, will start. I will keep you guys posted. However, if you're interested in one-on-one weekly lessons, that is separate from the monthly lessons, okay? And the one-on-one the one-on-one weekly or every day whatsoever also sometimes incorporates work and so on. But of course, for work purposes, of course, hit up Wayward. Art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art. And as you already know, this is Black History Month or Black History Study. So I just want to talk about the witchcraft and energies within the works. Some energies were brought to my attention. A Neely Fuller passing. At least they let him live to old age and didn't kill him like they killed Dick Gregory and Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Sabi, and the rest. And I'm saying it. If you want me to say allegedly, okay. They call him the master teacher. What is a master teacher? We're still trying to figure out where in the hell Bobby Hemmett is. They haven't produced him. You know, the alleged stroke and all. Right? I'm just speaking real, speaking right. Jim Crow Grand Wizard finally motherfucking died. That bitch lived all the way up to 102 years old. We're going to talk about Virginia, what's it called? McKeskey, Chicago Bears owner, and the daughter of Jim Crow #1. We're just talking Black history, right? White history is Black history. Black history is white history. Okay? I've been watching the universe. And I have to say, white men have been doing a fantastic job on Spellwork. White people are so interesting. They always get you on vocabulary, synonyms, adjectives, sentence structure. They always get you on emotions, right? Grammar and all. And that is how they play games with the world. They're really good at air and fire magic. They air the fire, they air the fuck out of you and then come with it with fire. White people play a lot of games, especially white men. We already know what the fuck white women will do. We're just talking white history, Black history, right? Not being racist or discriminatory. We're just looking at facts. This man came in like a fucking Aries. And I told you guys we are going to be under the frequencies of Aries. Aries is going to play a lot of fucking games with you and not going to explain shit. All they going to keep doing is bullying the fuck out of you until you bend over. And when you ask, well, why? How come? What's going on? They never answer the question. They just keep coming with air and fire magic and bullying the fuck out of you, right? Okay? They come at you raw. Make you almost in fear. My brother was an Aries. And I remember when our mother died, the mother of his child came and talked to me. Because my brother went to her and said, bitch, I hope your mama die. I don't have my mama, so yours should be dead. Isn't that the way the world is running? All we hear is air and fire shit and white man's takeover. As black people, we should be sitting back, analyzing and studying the behavior to get ready for the battle, right? This motherfucker sat up, or whosoever's the powers that be, that's behind this element that they call, or entity, deity, Trump, sat up and harassing the federal government, want to overturn that, fire every fucking body to bring in some fucking other bullshit that's third world. Motherfuckers that we don't even know. You know, friends. Okay? First he played games, and we just using him as the template. All you motherfuckers are fired. Buyouts, da-da-da-da. And it is true. It is being roamed around the FBI and CIA, emails and all. There's no lies in that. For a motherfucker to come back, say all of that, to say this: IRS employees who took Trump buyout, ordered to stay, told their work is too essential. So then what is the real deal? Is it to produce and create a new departments, new entities? Because this has nothing to do with the American frequency. This is third world. And I don't think you guys are getting that. Though it is the United States being ran third world, but you best believe there's a white man right there on top and using them as Muppets, puppets, and marionettes. They're using third world energies as the face to hide themselves of what they're doing. Because white men don't give a fuck. They're practical. But they are warlocks and witches. And they play a lot of games as gladiators and Vikings. White magic. White magic is in the Bible. Love and light. You niggas get so bamboozled because motherfuckers say, I died and I seen the light. The light'll kill you. You want darkness because you want to come back. They said, walk in the light. Walk in the light. And you niggas are being fucking surgery and you see the light. And you're like, I see my mom. I see this. I see that. I'm going to walk in the light because I'm going to see Jesus. Bitch, you dead. That's above y'all pay grade. White magic, right? I cracked up because white magic is pig magic. And pig magic is a whole other frequency that's above people's pay grade. And they've been pulling a whole bunch of pig magic since January. I seen that Post Malone has a video, a commercial, talking about Post Malone Oreos. I said, that's Lucifer. Why is Post Malone, who's a Cancer, under Lucifer? Are you playing into your Aquarius? I said, so now niggas are going to be out here eating Oreo Post Malones. Pig magic. They have you guys out here on TikTok talking about human studies, history. They're talking about on TikTok this human phenomena to learn history is being shadow banned. I cracked up and I read my comments. And motherfuckers were asking me, where am I getting my information from? Fact checking me. You cannot fact check history because every day new things, new information uproots you Google dagger niggas. You book niggas. Somebody was just sending me an energy of now he has to question and second guess himself on the energies of the book by Bobby Brown's sister. Because you guys believe you're wrapped and you're fact checked if you write a book. That information is real, is true. And I always say this to the people I work with. I say you can have 3 different people live in one village for a whole year, trying to write a thesis. And all 3 of those people will have a different focal point and viewpoint. And some of you are having an Aries moment that you are jealous and you're upset because you may look at me and believe that, why does this bitch know all this information? I should know. Prove it. Fact check. What cracks me up, white people be with that fact checking shit. It's what we tell you. And then I'm going to write a book about it to prove it and back it up. Because I done lived in a village in Africa for 3 years, so I know what it is. You don't know shit. You just know what you observed and what you think you know. Because I would have to question if African people let you lay up in their village for 3 years and you white. I'm going to question that. Why would they ever let you come and colonize and study them? If that is so, then I don't trust your thesis. And I don't trust them. How about that? We're just talking white magic and fact checking. Because you don't like what I said? Who gives a fuck? And I know it's some of y'all having difficulty to understand white skin is pig skin is white skin. Read about it. And then do a compare and contrast and understand your studies. I took anatomy. When I was in school, I studied. I did research. Lab. White skin, pig skin. Microscope, mechanisms. Black skin, pig skin, not alike. White skin, pig skin, same cells? Ooh. That was my study. I also, when I was in school, I studied human sexuality. Because remember, I said I was going to be a therapist. But working on the darker side of psychology and sexuality. I studied a lot about people, fetishes. A lot. White men always wanted to be their mamas. And they have they're infatuated with women. Especially their mamas. Black men were not infatuated with their mamas. They had a lot of respect. But they didn't want to become her like white men. White men wanted to become their moms. That's why they were hiding their cross-dressing, transvestite behavior. Black women had issues and they started to fuck with their sons. Then you start having sicko men, black men, that changed the course. That produced just a different type of black males. Black men were always looking for black women to be nurturers because they understand the vagina as heaven. And every woman vagina is different, especially when it comes to race and culture, because it's a different type of heaven. If you a black man, you go fuck a white woman, you in a different heaven. If you a black man, you go fuck an Asian woman, you're in a different heaven. If you're a black man, you go fuck a Latina, and I'm talking about not an Afro-Latina, but another type, that's a different heaven. If you fuck a black woman vagina, that's a different heaven because it produced different frequencies. But the ass is hell. We're just talking black history, right? We having a conversation. I want to go down a line of some black history questions that I found very interesting in my studies. And I've always been interested in history, and because I've always been interested in arts, because I studied arts. And I understand the foundation and importance of arts, right? And what it means in the connection between spirituality, occultism, racism, culture, subculture, and on. I've been noticing some frequencies in reference to Ghana. And here's my energies. Africa and the return to Africa is a hoax. And what type of hoax is going on here. They're asking Americans to set up shop and citizenship in Ghana, buy property, so much so that people, the Ghana, the people from Ghana, their markets are being burned and so on. And the Americans, the Black Americans, are asking about different properties in Ghana because they're returning back to Africa, right? But if you go back to after Civil War, isn't that the same symptom as Liberia? When they created this African country called Liberia, and then after the alleged Civil War, offered Black people to go back to Liberia? But you don't think that's odd? You don't think that it's just so traumatizing in America that Black people are just sick and tired of living here, going through shit? So anywhere is better than here? But isn't that the same symptoms of the Jim Crow, the Willie Lynch torture horror? That we are the original nationalists of the United States, but we were colonized and conquered by pig magic, that we just want to get the fuck out. That it has nothing to do that that's where we were and that's where we started from. It has everything to do, we're just tired of being killed, murdered, neutralized, and more. And we just want away. It has nothing to do with sovereignty or any deals with the United States. And that is why they say in government, you will see the real energies. But even then, we have to be careful. And I'm sitting back and I'm watching of how pig magic works. It's an illusion. So you telling me people who are born here in the United States are going to a whole other country because they're sick and tired of being treated like shit? But isn't that the same symptom that we had back then? And they was tired of living here, anywhere but here? How come that can't be the same symptom? How come you're under the illusion that we downright started from there when there are pyramids and frequencies everywhere we go around this world? How come we're not investigating and now looking at and reinvestigating these supposed slave ships and how they moved? You don't get that they moved motherfuckers right off this land into different frequencies around the world? Haven't y'all seen the original map? And it shows camels and a whole other, and animals that's in Africa and a whole other part of the world, closer to the United States, South America, Central America, closer to the West. And it shows palm trees and all this stuff, this alleged original map. And it shows extra land. You have in Antarctica the confusion of, is it flat or is it circular? Right? We don't want to connect that if Black Americans move to Africa, that's an investment. That's a financial gain. That's commodities. We need you niggas to leave this land to go to that land because we need you to build up that land so we can have investments. See, I remember when they talked about Liberia, when they said the original people that were there, saying when the American people came, it was horrifying. So they renamed Liberia from its original state and then had these Americans, which were natives, conquer the land with American behaviors. So how come we are not connecting the dots today? Because they intentionally wanted to get rid of history so you don't understand what's going on? The history I learned in elementary, junior high, and high school, they done scrapped all that shit. These new type of history teachers are whack as fuck. You got white teachers trying to teach history. You have Indians and white motherfuckers over there in Oxford trying to teach you something. You got motherfuckers merging Asian and all of these other departments with fucking with African history. My son told me his history teacher is white. I said, oh. Who's teaching African studies? I said, oh no. AP. One of my spiritual constituents, that's her frequency. That's what, and once me and her started working together, it changed her viewpoints. And she's African. A Christian African. Beat that. With Ivy League education. But you want a fact check? You want somebody to prove to you something. Okay? I remember when I was at City College, I was taking this African history class, and the book we had to read out of was called Slavery to Freedom. And at that time, I've always been militant. Nothing changed. And I wrote up a paper, and it was a cold one. And my teacher was Mr. Dennis. Black man. He hated my paper. He said he told me I insulted white people. And the white girl that was in the class was insulted by my paper. The bitch, why you in it? He embarrassed the fuck out of me. And it was a Brazilian guy in my class, and we talked about it, I think like a couple of days later, and he was like, oh my God, I can't believe how he disrespected you. He told me that I disrespected the white woman by writing my paper of how I felt and my point of view of I talked about weakness within the black community and our ancestors. And I was cold on some white folks. And he was offended, and so was the white woman. And he clowned the fuck out of me. That's why years later he got murdered up in them Oakland Hills by his gay lover. Revenge and redemption. Allegedly. That's what happens when you fuck around with the ancestors, when truth is being told and trying to cater to pick magic. So then I went on, and then I went back to the Civil War. And I studied some more. Like I said, going and moving back to Africa, what is that about? I said, what the fuck is this Civil War about? I said, this Civil War was never about no race. It's about drugs. Nothing about no fucking Yankees and Confederates. It's about dope. And then that was a very eerie frequency. Very dark. Then you start to look at the years. April 12th through 1861 through May 26th, 1865, fire and air. 5-star, 5%er, 5 points. Eerie evil spellwork. That was spellwork at its best. Very Masonic. All of these wars have always been about minerals, drugs, and more drugs and minerals. Land, minerals. Taking over, conquer minerals, drugs, and more drugs. Biochemical, biowarfare. Because they don't want to tell you that the Yankees and the Confederates were all on dope. They want you to believe that the Buffalo Soldiers that came out of Jamaica wasn't part of the Civil War. And they don't want to tell you the natives that they told you were slaves were natives. So you had Jamaicans coming in from the islands. Then you had natives fighting for what? And if you notice, it's not that many. Because they were Yankees and they was trying to fight for their Confederacy. They was trying to fight for their shit. They wanted their government back. That these motherfuckers came and colonized and stole from them. Their government. Your federal government, your government, we the people. Then you start to compare it to the Vietnam War. The Civil War is very much the same as the Vietnam War. They fought for the same thing. Isn't it very interesting how they snuck in the Vietnamese here? Through planes, ships, and whatever, babies and whoever. Isn't it very interesting that actress, what's her name, Tippy? The one that was in the Hitchcock movie, The Birds? Had her manicurist allegedly teach all the Vietnamese women how to do nails. Taught them schooling in nails. Set that whole thing up. Huh? Pig magic. How you guys so angry with Hugh Hefner, but the United States was paying Hugh Hefner to smuggle in babies from Vietnam. Then you start to like, what the fuck is going on with these timelines? How come everything is so similar? Then you go back to the Holocaust. Then you understand this supposed slavery was the Holocaust. The Holocaust was the slavery, and both of it was a social experiment on humans, and record keeping, and psychology, and how to deal with humanity. How to kill, maim, and control the mass. By taking away energies, pig magic, right? By taking away people's rights. Just like I showed you, coming with executive order. It's going to be this, but it isn't legal. You guys are still under the pandemic? My question is, with this supposed slavery, and they're saying it started around 1619, which is an incorrect energy, because it was still under the native government and melanated government. Why are we not tripping these people that they call Slavics and Irish were enslaved by the original government. So what came in and took the original government over, where it flip mode the Irish on top of the natives and Slavics and changed government? How come we not asking these questions of what happened? Then you go back before Christ, after Christ. But according to these pictures that we see, they show us primitive people who are naked and all this primitive. But that's after Christ. But before Christ, we allegedly have Egyptians and this echelon world and go, forward before time and galactic and supernaturals and spirit and mathematics and engineering. Then how do you go from that to primitive? You had a whole world here. Then what happened after Christ? Y'all don't think about that? Y'all don't think that's odd? Don't try to explain it. Just let it hit for a moment. You had a whole society. And it doesn't matter. Even Adam and Eve, the alleged story, is a whole society that was ahead of the game. How did it go ass backwards to after Christ into primitive energies? Because things go primitive before they are engineered. Modern day. How do you go from science, doctors, nurses, scientific law, motherfuckers making Frankensteins, putting body parts together and all this shit, into primitive and wearing animals and chest, breast, all of that? How? Where? Something not right. Something doesn't make sense. We don't know what we're looking at. We don't know what pictures. We don't know what this is. Because pig magic lies. Pig magic steals. Pig magic causes confusion. Pig magic have hidden frequencies. Pig magic have you guys thinking that Da Vinci created all this energy, but it was painted over and the real melanin is underneath the paintings. You guys are so confused because you don't know what it is, what it ain't. You don't understand the crucifixion. When you go to the Getty Museum and you look at some of the Renaissance and art pieces, you're not even understanding that that's stolen art, and they redid the art, and art was actually of black people. When I seen Solomon, the original Solomon, I said, oh my God. When you see these damn saints, Saint Michael's and all of that, and you seen that it's melanin, but you want to fact check because you need to see it to believe it. You don't even know about your fucking self because you don't ask these questions. At what scope did we have Greeks and the Romanesque people being gladiators and colosseums, then it goes from that to primitive people and pictures? Where did those pictures come from? Who are those people? You guys just look at that continent of Africa as the end all and be all. But you have Central South America, Caribbean islands, and all of that have pyramids, lakes, and all. Just all type of shit. But pig magic then got you. They have this creating energies with these Quakers and Pilgrims and the Christopher Columbus. Well, literally, you have black empires? What happened? We as black people need to be like for real standing back watching this shit, right? Like how things turn, how it changes. What is real? What is not real? What are they hiding? Them pictures that we seen of our ancestors, was it just white people sexualizing us? And creating primitive pictures that we're not getting the real frequencies? Are we not respecting the native tribes? What are we not respecting here, right? Because is the beginning the end and the end the beginning? As we talk Revelations, then we have to understand, is that why the Bible is upside down and we got to read it backwards? Because if you read Revelations, it appears that Revelations should be one. Like one. And then you incorporate Genesis in it. Because in reality, if you really read Genesis, is really the build-up of Earth. Not the planets, Earth. In a certain part of the Earth. What the fuck? It has nothing to do with global energies. It has nothing to do with what it is. We're just talking history, right? We want to have this conversation. Then you go into them trying to play games with your life, with your loved one's life. They want to consider putting men, American men, in a Central American prison? So they want to pull a UK kicking out their misfits and throwing them into Australia and into New Zealand effect. See what I'm talking about? How they keep doing shit over and over, recycle? They got rid of the misfits allegedly out of the UK and kicked them out and put them in Australia with the Aborigine people and colonized that. That's why them Australians and their misfit behavior is off the hinges. Them are some wicked and deadly people. So now they want to play the same game here? Who in the fuck is this third world energy that calls themselves want to kick out the misfits that are born here in the United States and put them in a fucking South American jail for them to be murdered? And I started thinking about, okay, so you got young brothers, black men in jail. And I don't know about anywhere else, but I know there's an issue with the Latino men and Latino women. There's an issue. It's enough that now they have basically incorporated themselves with the Aryans. But you telling me you gonna have my black brother and sister over there in South America for them to be harmed? And there's already a war here? So they could make an investment in money? That is a human rights issue. That is above the pay grade. What the fuck is going on in Cuba with that whole jail energy? They got all them Asians over there, and now they're shipping off the immigrants over there. But we don't have questions. They still after the neutralization and extermination of us. So you're going to go send them to Central and South America and knowing. Then you have this energy that's happening in Congo with Rwanda. And they keep talking about it has something to do with minerals and shit. Nah, there's something else going on. And then they said the men they said they let the men out of jail and they killed the women and children. So again, neutralizing the black women and the children. Was it Nigerians? Because they've been letting out them Nigerians on the loose. And they've been going to different parts of Africa causing havoc, especially in South Africa. Because I was looking at the Rwanda president, and I said, he kind of looked Ethiopian to me. Someone Kenyan. But Ethiopian. Even Somalian. Sudanese. Well, something's up with this. Are we sure these not white folks over there cutting up? Somebody's doing something because, they've been paying the Nigerians to do a lot of shit. This don't seem odd that this is fire and air? Show me, just like back in the 80s, when I came home and I saw all them dead bodies on the news that Jim Jones allegedly killed in a suicide. And I remember coming home, looking, and everybody was face down, lined up in a row. How come we don't get that type of news anymore? I need to see them women. I need to see it. Because what I'm hearing is something else. Don't show me no social media shit, people running in shit in ditches. Maybe I need to go on a morbid site because I need to see this. Something seems very hasty about this energy. It doesn't make sense. And they can't make it make sense. Because them Asians and white folks and all of them, Teslas, they're going right over there to Africa stealing all the minerals. And Ghana has a whole bunch of minerals. West Africa. But West Africa is attached into the Americas and Central and South America. Sound like pig magic to me going on in Congo. Okay. I had a spiritual constituent that was telling me about this part of, I think it's Ethiopia, and I think it's called Gondar, Gondar is the way it's spelled. And I was discussing with the spiritual constituents of how, I remember in the 80s, it was this big deal about famine in Ethiopia. And she was stating that she dated an Ethiopian guy that told her that his mother came from this village, and that one day out the blue, the Red Cross came and told everybody to evacuate. And they had less than 24 hours to get what they was going to get, in so many words. A bus came and picked them up, drove them to the airport, and they already had their passports. How would they already have their passports in that village? Who knew their names? And they went and put them on different flights to go in different parts of the world and United States, and that's where they landed. And apparently one of the places they landed was in Arizona. And I said, oh yeah, I said, that's why Arizona. I said, did they forget to tell us about that? And my question was, well, why did the Red Cross? So is that what they do? They cause havoc and whatever and just go into a country and take it over and say leave? And just take it over? And then fly to people? Then it made me think about the Ukraine. I said, is that what the fuck happened? So here, so then I said, well, what was going on with the famine? And apparently all that wasn't all that. But apparently it was the Somalians that was starving. I said, is that why they eat so much starch? Wait a minute. They told us it was Ethiopians, but it really wasn't the Ethiopians. They went over to Somalia and took pictures of them and put them on Save the Children with Sally Struthers. And then had people donating and shit to whom? But in reality, those donations people were giving and clothing was going to the missionaries and the Salvation Army and all of that for them to go and conquer and colonize different parts of Africa and then collect information and then put them on buses and then get their plane ticket and passports and send them to America? But you're fact checking. Because nobody really want to talk about them supposed ships did not come into America. It didn't go into Alabama. There were ships leaving America, taking them to different parts. And then later in the early 1900s, we're going to say maybe late 19th century into the 20th century, then that's where you start to get in people into America. Because they're not telling you that who they was bringing into America were the Haitians and the Jamaicans. It wasn't the Africans. That's why Louisiana is Haiti. Because they was bringing in, was it contraband? So we have people being exported as they were importing. Where's the tariffs? Okay. That's why Pig Magic don't know if it's the Caribbean or the Caribbean. I had to go back and I had to re-examine what the hell my Aunt Julia was saying to me. My Aunt Julia said her grandfather was born on the Nile River. And her grandmother, who's a Blackfoot Indian, and her grandfather She never said he was African. She never said he came in on a slave ship. She said he was born on the Nile River. And I had to go back and research Mississippi into Louisiana Nile River. I had to get with the conspiracy theorists. I said, wait a minute. Because my Aunt Julia would say he was born in Africa. She just said, no, he was born on the river. The Nile River. I asked my Aunt Julia, I said, was he African? She never answered. What the Then you wondering why some of us do not qualify for reparations. Because many of us did not come from Africa. They don't want to tell you that they kicked people off this land and put them in Africa, especially West Africa and the Caribbean islands. They don't want you to start claiming your land from your tribe, so they mix up your native tribes. That's why I told you you have to reevaluate Nigeria, because Nigeria was named Nigeria, and Nigerians are Nigerians because a white woman named you. White people went over there naming different parts of Africa and tribes as what they did here in America and merged them together. How many of you guys, especially Generation X, walking around with a fucking white woman on your tit that's supposed to be in Nefertiti? And then you find out later that the Nefertiti, that the Nefertiti or Nefertari, whatever you want to call it, bust is a fucking white woman. Because somebody, who was it, the archaeologist who went over there, got rid of the original bust, hid it, took it, and then created a new bust of his woman, just like the story of Jesus was the painter's boyfriend. But we don't have questions because you need to fact check. And when I found that shit out, I was like, God damn, I should get this covered up. They've been looking for Nefertiti for years, and you're not going to find it. They went and created descendants of Nefertiti. And they look like white women. And that's the part that's dangerous, because you'll get people who believe that shit. And when white people tell you so, you guys believe it. I respected when Sudanese people said that they are the real Middle Easterns with complexion and all. We're just talking Black history, right? Gulf of Mexico, all of that. Are you trying to get rid of the Gulf of Mexico because Mexico is really black and that's the original origins? You want to talk about all this money shit and the Panama Canal and all of that? White people in their pig magic. And you telling me this is not bewitchery and witchcraft? And we don't ask questions? We don't think? I don't want to hear no Oxford scientific bullshit. I don't want to, and I don't want to read books that other black people then pulled white research. When we are not trying to discuss how everything is upside down and how our ancestors govern how our ancestors' government was taken over, and we don't want to talk about how the original, as they say, slaves were the Irish and Slavics. We don't want to talk about how before Christ don't make sense with after Christ. We don't want to ask questions about them pictures that they've been showing us. You guys don't even ask questions about the fucking Orishas. I was listening to this story about South Central LA, and they were talking about Biddy Mason. Now over here they talking about that she was born in Georgia, but then when you hear the real story, she's a native from the Carolinas, and that she came to this Los Angeles and did all type of spell work. And it's so interesting that people who came after her, and I'm talking about the black descendants, especially women, walked in her shoes because she was a nurse, a philanthropist, and she owned properties. What did I tell you about my grandmother and the rest of the friends? RN nurses, philanthropy, built clubs, and bought property. Now that is ancestral magic, and that is history. But that's above y'all pay grade because you can't do that. This woman came into Los Angeles around the late 19th century. And it was so interesting that they called it the Black Renaissance, which taps back into the Harlem. So I said, so wait a minute here. So you telling me the authentic Renaissance started in LA? What is this? So you got the Harlem Renaissance, you got the Black Renaissance over here in South Central. Then in San Francisco, Fillmore was also considered the Renaissance frequency, where the arts. So why are black people not getting back into the Renaissance? Not what they orchestrate, but what you can do instead of getting tied up in this new frequency of art. Because they want to control the art now. You got people looking to steal your art and create all of this federal funding and grants and all that bullshit. Right? Why are they afraid to say black people who came out of the Carolinas were native? So I started to look at her. I said, wow, black people for real did some fucking spell work. It was no joke. Because Los Angeles, that's why I say Los Angeles is nothing but prime property in black. From Hollywood to Beverly Hills. We don't want to talk about Orange County. How in Newport Beach, wasn't that a whole what is it, like a place for vacation? Is either, I think it's Newport, not Huntington, but Newport. And the white folks became jealous and redlining. Orange County was black. There was a man who died maybe a couple of years ago, been here for over 100 years. That's why Altadena is very interesting. But it's more than Altadena. I'm more interested in Altadena, all them underground tunnels I was listening to Kendrick Lamar speak on the fires. I said, these niggas ain't shit. I cracked up when I heard the people of Chicago go the fuck off on them damn immigrants talking about black people are lazy. And the woman pointed out and called them asylum seekers. And she broke them down to smithereens, how their behavior. And I said, damn, I wonder, are they going to sit up and talk about how them immigrant women were out there prostituting in them alleyways and how in the surrounding areas they was causing so much problems. It's just like they went and put them over there in the Dominican Republic. And they over there prostituting. They say a lot of them Dominican women and shit were prostituting like a motherfucker over here. Venezuelans, all of them. It made me reevaluate the new ring that they have going with the strip clubs of Latino men pimping and pandering black women. We're just talking pig magic in history, right? It's not allegedly, but we're going to say allegedly. I was up here appalled how there's a lawsuit that has uprooted at the University of California of racial discrimination. I said, they back at it again? And apparently whites and Asians are suing the University of California, saying that they were giving priority and special treatment to blacks and Hispanics for admittance and entry under DEI. If these motherfuckers don't stop goddamn lying, you barely see fucking black people at USC. And so concerned about scholarships. The fuck you talking about? They lying asses. But what's going to happen is, white kids are not that smart, allegedly. So, white kids get into school on disabilities, ADHD, autism, dyslexia, schizophrenia. One of my spiritual constituents sent me some interesting energy because she said she was hella mad, right? Black people may have a disability, but they don't use their resources. See, white people use their resources. When I was going to City College, it was a white girl saying, I have ADHD and I need more time on my testing. I need this, I need that. Because, that's how white people get over. Because, their kids are not that smart. So what they'll do is they'll go pay for a psychologist to write up a report, an IEP or whatever it may be, and say that their children have a learning disability. Their kid don't have a fucking learning disability. Their kids are dimwits. Allegedly. I'm not saying all. I'm just saying what it is. The next energies that we should look at are Indian kids. They're lazy. And they're always confused, and they're similar to the white kids. And their parents pay for their entries. And most of the colleges now have an interesting diversity that there's some kind of way there's an Indian energy, and the schools are letting them in because the investments and stuff like that, just like in the Chinese energies, right? They're donating. And whoever donates, that's the kids coming in. And they don't want to go to school with your black ass. They're very discriminatory towards black students. And I know it for a fact. They don't want to work with you. They don't want to be in a group with you. They don't want to work around you. More and more, Indians are showing their asses to black people. They're getting on social media talking big shit. Oh, look at your black skin. Da, 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 da. Indians getting full of themselves. They're getting on trains. They even harassing white folks and talking shit. And then play the white role. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you this? Why are you that? Y'all should go check out the video. I think it's on. Let's see if I can find it. Go on YouTube to the Daily Mail. Look at this particular video called Shocking Racism. Roll breaks out on an Avanti West Coast train. Go look at that. And they said, and they talked about these people. I think they call what they call Poja. Is it Poja? It's like as if we keep having to struggle to get educated. They don't want us educated. And I had to go back in history. What's up with them and black people in education? Let me see here. I went back because I think I talked about this before. And I went back and in time, it's his story. And the story of, what's his name? His name is Clennon King. Black scholar sent to mental asylum for applying to college? And this happened during the 1940s and 1950s. What are they trying to hide from us becoming educated? Let's see. Let's look at some history. Okay, let's look at some old school shit. Okay, let's look at our ancestors. Here it says, meet the first black woman to earn her degree from a 4-year accredited college in the U.S. in 1862. Okay, so we understand there. Louis Lattimore taught himself drafting, helped Alexander Graham Bell develop the telephone, was a member of Thomas Edison elite research team. I guess we are smart after all, huh? Okay. Alice Ball, 1892-1916. She cured leprosy. Okay. And dang, they said she passed away later on. But they say a phenomenal woman, Alice Ball was a chemistry genius. She graduated with honors from the University of Hawaii at just 19 and then earned her master's degree in chemistry at only 24. She developed the first effective treatment for leprosy and injectable form of oil. Then goddamn, she died from it or something. I mean, I'm just trying to understand what's going on here. Like, why do these people keep trying to play games with us, right? play, just play with our pimping. Jeffrey Franklin Long. Oh, he was part of government. He was a Republican. This is what I'm talking about. 1836 to 1907. The 51st congressman was the first black. What y'all think? Do you think this is why they don't want us to be educated and these third world people are doing the bidding for pig magic people? Because they don't want us to go back to who we really are? James Durham. He was in medicine, born in Philadelphia. He was a native. He was a doctor. This was around 1788. And he moved to New Orleans as a surgeon. What y'all think? Okay, wait a minute. Let's look at some other stuff. James Herman Banning. The first licensed black male pilot. James Herman Banning, the first licensed black male pilot, and the first black pilot to fly coast to coast, was killed in a plane crash, of course. Banning was born in Oklahoma, so we know he was native. He studied electrical engineering. But I thought they couldn't. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Paul Revere Williams was a black architect who learned to draw upside down on his white clients. Something would feel more comfortable. Oh, so he dumbed himself down, learned how to draw upside down to make the pig magicsters feel comfortable with his talent. Meanwhile, Paul Revere Williams, he went on to be an architect who, wait a minute, not that theme Afrofuturistic at the LAX. You mean that structure? You mean the Beverly Hills Hotel? No. You know we don't got a bit of sense. Oh my God, the architects of different motels. Wait a minute here. You telling us Emmeline King designed the interior for the SN95 Mustang? Wait a minute. I'm trying to understand something here. Okay, wait a minute. Edamina Lewis, 1844 to 1905, was the first black native woman, basically native woman artist, to break into the American mainstream and international art market. So she did sculptures, neoclassicism or neoclassical sculptures. She did shit for these abolitionist people and so on. I mean, on and on. I mean, what are we to do here? So then, in this modern day time, for real now, we have people saying we're getting special treatment because we're just not smart enough. And they want to keep sacrificing us playing games. And we know the fucking truth. Then I started to really look at white men, right? I cracked up when you guys questioned, what's her name, the Sarah Bartman energy, when I said that was a whole man. Then you guys aren't studying. First of all, white men have a thing with black dicks. Now we're going to stop that playing. They're infatuated with it. More than white women. They're infatuated with black dicks. That's why it is correct what Frances Cress Wilson was talking about in her book. It's true. I studied it. They are infatuated. Candy bars and chocolate was created around dick. When you go eat a candy bar and doesn't it look like the various frequencies of a dick, especially a black man's dick, and you see the lines and this and that, nuts, all that. It's insinuating, isn't it? And white men are infatuated. Everywhere they go, they're infatuated. The Birth of a Nation, that movie, tells you the infatuation that pig magicsters have with Asian men and black men. They have an infatuation with Asian men because they always consider Asian men as docile and feminine. So that's why a lot of them go to those Asian countries, because they like that energy about them. They're infatuated. They love that little Asian man as they love the Mandingo black dick, because that's the real nature of that, right? So when I talked about Sarah Bartman, I'm saying pig magicsters have a thing that they'll do the crime and then kill the evidence. They'll kill it. They cut out the private area because they didn't want you to know really what it is. Then when you look at the facial structure of the supposed energies, I thought y'all knew. I thought y'all knew in the study. Then somebody silly wrote on Google, Valentine's is coming. You're going to get a lot of chocolate dicks popping off, huh? You're getting a new frequency out here and it's uprooting. I call it Pulp Fiction, Vin Raines effect. You're going to get more and more gladiator, Viking white men who racist as a motherfucker want to fuck your ass, your black ass. It's going to be a fetish. It's a fetish now. That's why you're getting more and more Indian men that want to have sex with black men. What don't you think they was doing in Africa? Them Indians having sex with black men. In the islands having sex with black men. They're infatuated. So now it's uprooting again. And now you're going to get another new created fetish with Aryans, lassie boys, alt-rights, little boys, hardcore. They're getting back to it again. Who you think taught you to be homosexual and condoms, throat goats, I had a spiritual constituent, a spiritual constituent was telling me about a freaking Ethiopian. Talking about he's a throat goat. And he like dressing as a schoolgirl. But have a whole family. A wife and shit. Is that what you Somalians and Sudanese and Eritreans really be doing? Just like the Middle Easterns? Is that what y'all really be doing? Y'all was taught well. It's coming back. That's going to be the new underground world again. But who they really want, they want to build black men. They don't want you homosexuals. They want to build one. They like y'all. They're going to be seeing y'all at the gym. They're going to be coming up flirting. And you like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then, oh, can I have your photo? And we'll work out together. Next thing you know, y'all up in the damn sauna room. But he said, hey, come over here. Then he then range you. You think he masculine and straight, heterosexual. and he a whole Aryan. I thought y'all understood. They need to have black men bisexual. They need you to be interracial, black women and black men. Because black people, we have the super gene. No other culture have the super gene. And the darker you are, 1,000% you have the super gene. And it's a particular gene dealing with the muscles and tendons and bloodline. Who is that? Is it the Harriet? And they keep monopolizing on hers? On her genes? Let's see here. We just want to have a clear conversation here. Yeah. Harriet Lacks, born Loretta, was a black woman, looked like she was native, technically, whose cancer cells are a source of, what they call it? Of the Hella cell line. And they keep duplicating this energy without paying her family or anything. They keep using our cells. Black people, we have the cells, but the more they disrupt it, it fucks up the cells. The veganism fucks up our cells because we're not getting the proper protein and nutrients. That's why, they want to tell you that black women are losing hair because we're wearing these weaves and whatever. No, it's because we're dehydrated and we're not eating properly in proteins. We're too busy out here trying to lift weights and all this shit and be men, drinking all these protein drinks and more, and we're not hydrating ourselves. We're not eating the proper foods. Eating slop shop and grits and shit like that is not it. Our diet's changed. I'm malnourished. A thin woman is malnourished. We are malnourished. They have you guys getting plastic surgery to fuck up your cells. A doula, spiritual constituents, was telling me of how women, black women out here getting these mommy makeovers and is fucking up their bodies when they have children. She was telling me how another doula was explaining to her how her client, I believe, but whatever, but was pregnant and wanted the baby out because her body was so tight and it didn't have the elasticity, for the stretch. And they said she was scratching at her body and wanted the baby out like it was a fucking demon. And the baby somehow got stuck up in the muscle. I might be saying it wrong, but that's what I was told. And they had to do a cesarean, that is a whole other frequency. What really is very interesting that nowadays there isn't anybody that talks to women. I remember when I was having my first son, they told me I needed to get a C-section. They made up shit. But thank goodness I had women around me that said, I used to have my food made by Rastafarian women. And I used to have Middle Eastern women telling me, don't believe nothing they saying, that you got the hips to push out a baby. I had another friend, my black woman was like, we don't have that anymore. I believe, and I believe black doulas are so important in midwives, inside and outside. You guys start doing veganism and you're malnourished. I don't care how good you think you look. They don't want to tell the truth. I had the doula look at this woman. I think she's in Memphis and she owns a gym. And she is cut like fuck. And she just broke her whole energy down and looked in her eyes and said, she's sick. I said, oh, wow. Women, black women especially, are not supposed to be looking like that. And she was like, no, she's a woman. These white people have created energies to disguise the voice. Where's this that she gave me? Damn. Oh, here it is. It's called Voicem. Voice Fem. You guys go look that up. It's on YouTube. It's called, is it on YouTube? Yeah. It's called VoiceFem, youtube.com. It says VoiceFem before and after Zay's voice. This is how they playing out here with you, with these surgeries and so on. And you black people are changing the dynamics of yourself and you don't even realize that you're the super gene. They fucking with your sexuality. They fucking with your body. They fucking with your health. It's all the above. I don't want to hear no fucking shit about, well, who's paying her to talk about veganism. Vegetarianism is different from veganism. I was a vegan when I got pregnant. The time within my pregnancy, I was not, because I was craving meat and I listened. Black men were not gladiators and Vikings and all of that. They had a different frequency to them because they didn't have to do all that. And the woman taught man how to war. It's above y'all pay grade. Isn't it weird, this whole birthright citizenship? And I had a spiritual constituent bring up something and I had to examine it. What's her name, Alana? I don't know if she's Russian or she's Slavic. But Trump's wife, she's an immigrant. And they were slaves. She had Barron. Does he get sent back? And so does she? Elon Musk. What is his background? And he's an immigrant. Does his children get sent back, including the son that he calls Tesla? Kash Patel and the Vivek and all of them. What about them and their kids? Usha Vance. Is it because she's married? Because her parents are immigrants. Does she get deported? I'm just trying to understand. There's this woman who is now the DOJ. What is this she? She's her name is Harmet Dillon. And of course you know me. Look her up. She's not even American. Her name is Harmet Dillon. And to head DOJ Civil Rights Division. She's Indian. They just sneaking these people in. I was told over there in Seattle, they set up the Mexicans. The Mexican kids at the school, and then ICE came in and they recorded it. It was one my son's friends showed it. Where did all them kids go? Huh? I heard the Mexicans were angry, saying that black women didn't support them in their energies. Maybe it has something to do with this. What y'all think? Let's see. Let the Negro fight his own battles. Let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. Felix, what's it? I can't pronounce it, but Tanchina, Mexican-American president. Do you think it has something to do with that? What y'all think? When a few Mexican-Americans associated with the League of the United Latin American Citizen, LOLAC, suggested working with blacks in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and basically the NAACP, LULAC National President Felix Tijerina sternly reprimanded his colleagues, saying, "Let the Negro fight his own battles." I like me some cholas and cholos. I like Chola West. I like Chicanos. But well, damn. What are we supposed to do? I'm doing a video. I'm in the middle. What's wrong?
So you don't want to try one?
What is that?
Order it off the TikTok shop.
Oh, here we go. I'm in the middle of it. Here we go. Did you see my other stuff out there? Did you open the box?
Let's open this.
This is candy?
I have more coming.
Quite tasty.
You like it?
I like it.
Okay.
Do you like it?
It's alright.
What made you get this?
I've been wanting it.
But you didn't want to get now layers.
No, but one. I was talking to a lady on Instagram, right? I was hitting her about those hot Cheeto Bodine balls. The jambalaya ones.
Okay.
Like the one. I might go to San Bernardino to go pick them up.
Oh, hell no. How that bitch meet you? Out here, we don't go to no San Bernardino.
No, that's where she's at, so I gotta go.
Oh, her business?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, she works at her house.
Oh, no.
She in the hood.
Let's see what that is. How far is San Bernardino from here? About an hour? Okay. I went back and I seen they didn't killed Irv Gotti finally, huh? I was cracking up with these supposed psychic readers talking about somebody we knew he's gonna die of a natural death. No, he didn't. I'm not about to play with y'all with that one. And I was listening to his catalog. I was like, he had a stroke, then another stroke, then they want to take us to diabetes. That reminds me of Julia Hare, Nathan's Hare wife. Look up Julia Hare and her having Alzheimer's. Anytime you speak real and you speak right, somehow they fuck with your head. I knew something sooner or later was going to happen to Irv Gotti. Of course. I hope his wife and children protected themselves. But knowing that wife, that ex-wife of his, you never know what that is. I'm not about to play with that, because y'all know what it is. And the energies and calculations. And I don't believe he died when he died. They've been playing games with Irv Gotti for a minute. Allegedly, Puff Daddy in the hospital, that nigga out. You know that Kai, that video, whatever, you know, that Kai. But now I'm convinced. I think you guys are right. I said, that nigga does look like Puff Daddy. What the fuck? Okay, maybe we just tripping because we all black folks. Y'all, I'm part of the conspiracy that Kai and Puff Daddy look alike. Then the other conspiracy. At first, I was like, And what's that shit with Krishan? What's going on with her real baby daddy? You know, that's a whole mess. He up there dead, huh? The real father. What's going on with that? What's his name? Is his name Ronnie? Or Ron? What's going on with that? You know, it's very interesting because I was telling somebody, I said, it's very interesting how Blueface messed with her and he ended up going to jail. I'm not about to get on this Krishan bandwagon. That's a whole septic tank. I went back and kind of look a little bit at the Grammys, like some of the people. why are y'all playing with me about Dolce? Y'all didn't see that them eyes were changing and she was changing and she went demonic? I said, oh, her eyes are shifting when she was sitting in the crowd. People are wondering, huh? How's she winning? Well, I don't know what she is. I don't know if she's a reptilian or what you guys call it. I don't know what that is, but them eyes and corneas and irises shifted. They need to do better with that. They're getting messy with their work. I was looking at that Julia Fox and she had on the nylon stocking thing like Kanye West. What, that girlfriend of his or wife? I said, why did they get kicked out? They didn't get kicked out. Don Lemon tried to interview him. He just walked past him. Yeah, I said, I don't got time for that fake ass Kanye West. And that lizard that he then brought to the damn Grammys. That's a whole lizard. She looked like a lizard. I was looking at that damn Shamar in a wedding dress. Why are they propping up this special needs man? In addition to Shay, who finally met Ariana Grande with the autism. What's scary about Shay is that she is a pretty girl and she outsang Ariana Grande? I guess they went to some kind of she had a glam team. You know those two sisters, and they have autism, and the one that talking about, the other one was, I guess, harassed her. And talking about Ariana Grande, I seen them in a talent show because it popped up on my feed, and that one sister was singing her ass off. I said, that's scary, because in reality she can appear as normal, but it made me think about the industry. Is majority autistic. And she met Ariana Grande. I said, what's wrong with Ariana Grande? And she outsang her. I said, going forward, we're going to have to request people IEPs, because we need to see these disabilities. You have to interview people. You got to ask people, are you bisexual? What's going on with you? Are you on PrEP? Were you a dope fiend in the back in the day? What drugs have you done? What don't you do? Because we as black people, we have a fucked up society. Crack cocaine created some interesting beings and mutants. With bone issues, mental issues, and it's going to get worse because of fentanyl, crystal meth. We're going to have more crazier people. You don't know what the fuck you're getting. You're going to need to ask them, were you ever... Okay, you were? Okay, can I see your school paperwork? I want to know what you... Because you guys go producing these kids. Were you on crack? When? What year? All that. Are you on psychiatric drugs? You psycho? Well, I was in special ed. You were? Okay, let me see that IEP. Oh, no, this says you have ADHD and not dyslexia. No, this says here that you have a mild retardation. I'm not discriminating. Makes me look at Megan Good and Jonathan Majors. I said, which one? Which one has an IEP? Some not right. He's talking Black history. Oh, I called that Chapel Roan Chappelle. I had to tell people, look, I thought I was saying Chapel. I don't know why I was saying Chappelle. So, the bitch name is Chapel. Black history. Look up the zebra murders of San Francisco. Ted Bundy, shout out to him. He said it wasn't true about him killing them white girls. He was really trying to do black people a favor and kill the white folks. That's inside information to someone who used to counsel him. Let's put it that way. Charles Manson said black people, you know, the the ones that they keep accusing him of doing these hippie murders, said black people don't even know their power. Maybe we should take a second look at Jeffrey Dahmer, what that was about. Again, zebra killers, zebra murderers. Should we go back and look at that energy with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with those murders that happened, I think, in D.C. in the house that he donated to? It's not the Nation of Islam. Who is this? Yeah, they call it the massacre. It happened January 12, 1973. And they call it the Black Mafia, or affiliated with the Black Mafia, traveled to Washington, D.C., scouted the home of then January 17th, 1973, Ronald Harvey, John Clark, traveled in 2 vehicles from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. Let's see here, because I want to get to the location. You should look this up. This was very interesting because I know the person who was running that energy there wanted vengeance, and what they're trying to say is that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was being costed by Muhammad Ali because Farrakhan. They saying is it Farrakhan? Or was it? Who was it? Well, we're going to say the Nation of Islam was trying to get him into what they were doing, but he didn't want to. However, he donated that house, which is very interesting. And then they're accusing the Nation of Islam coming in and massacring the people up in the house. They said 7 deaths, 2 injured. And they're calling it the Black Mafia, but in reality, they're saying that allegedly it was the Nation of Islam. Purchase for the group. It's called the Hanafi Muslims, Hanafi Muslims. Yeah, you guys should look this up. This was very interesting. If somebody in my guys could talk about it, but I found this story very interesting. And again, they blame the Nation of Islam. We just talking history. Did y'all see Taylor Swift ass dancing all in the face of Morris Chestnut's wife? Let me tell you something. I don't trust pig magicsters when they start dancing. I don't dance with white women. I don't trust their spell work. Nowadays, white women been twerking and shaking their ass and doing some kind of like physical spell work and shit that they're sending out different pains and sufferings in the universe. Don't even know how to compact that shit. Okay, and so when I started looking at all that Taylor Swift does, I said, she reminds me of Joni Mitchell. How Joni Mitchell stole the voice of Roberta Flack. Then you got Shaka Khan under the same frequency, and you have this person that they call Beyonce. So we got all these black women under these certain frequencies of white magic and these high priestesses frequency, and we should not be under that energy. Leaving?
If you want that candy, it's on the
Okay. And so I started to really examine it, because in reality, black women should be working in the lunar frequency, like I told you, the snake energy. But we're now seeing black women working under these frequencies. And like I said, when I seen Taylor Swift, because every time I see Taylor Swift dance, I'm always suspicious. I'm like, what type of spell work is she doing? Right? And you have to understand, it's a white girl movement, and they're into their music, and their music is pushing the tides, it's pushing the frequency. I'm just saying, as black women or women of color, we got to watch out for that. And again, when you see a dancing white girl, you always got to side eye, because that's a whole bunch of spell work. No matter where they at, if you see a dancing white girl, you always side eye. Always know there's some kind of spirit dancing and it's connected to something. Because when I seen her twerking, twisting back up on his wife, I was done. I said, oh, hell nah. The spiritual constituents was telling me that white women don't like to eat during pregnancy. They don't eat. This is a doula. Black women becoming just like that frequency. That doesn't even make sense. I've been looking at black women and women of color doing Ifa and Santeria work and going to the waters. In this day and fucking time, stop throwing all that goddamn shit in the water. We got some real fucking shit going on. Ain't no sweet waters going on. Stop all that molasses, honey. Stop all that goddamn shit. Your altar should be fucking different. I'm so tired of y'all throwing them goddamn flowers in the fucking water. These are dark waters. The fuck? Oshun is not Oshun. Yemaya is not Yemaya, and Oya is not who that is. Stop throwing all that goddamn shit, listening to these goddamn men. You're a woman of color. I don't give a fuck if you don't like what I'm saying. I'm speaking the truth. You got Taylor Swift's out here cutting up. There is no nice magic anymore. White women have got it. They go out to the waters and all that stuff. Dancing and throwing shit. You always got to change your magic up. Don't you throw no fucking honey and honeycombs doing all that shit. Y'all better get out that white and really work with them skull and bones, catacombs, in this day and time. Anyway, this is just a little bit of my frequencies of black history, asking some questions. This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.